Feeling it today. The creative juices are flowing. Trying fashion and dance and having fun with it. What a contrast life is. You go to work, and work is hard. The Bible says work's going to be a curse. Sweat of our brow, thistles, and work is hard. And what amazes me is if we're in Christ, we're supposed to be different. And I'm different. I am different. I was born very hyperactive, very high energy, very passionate. My parents didn't understand me, made fun of me for my eating too much, even though it benefited them with my chore level. Hello, Mr. Hinkle. Hello, Chris and Joshua. And it bothers me because I go to work and you got a Christian guy that works in receiving and he does not have any joy at all. He's got a voice that sounds like Big Bird. And yesterday he kept calling me Mr. Mike. I hate that. And he's unhappy and he sucks up to management and he's nice to them and then he's rude to me. And I've noticed over the years that people judge me for what I wear. But I'm happy. I treat people right. I work 110%. He's none of the above. I have to say that. I just have to. Hello, Carol. How are you? Chrysler, we have fun. And I'm sorry. I'm embracing this. I've gone back and forth, tried to please people, and I finally said, you know what? I'm going to buy more feminine fashion. I'm going to have fun with it, try to put stuff together. I like this. I just danced to an African native song that I heard on a video short. I'm like, man, that's good music. And I like expression, and we're so locked up. I see so many people are locked up by societal norms, church norms, everything else. And it's like, does anybody know how to dance? Does anybody know how to cut loose and be different? It's crazy. And I know what I do is not for everybody, but the criticism and the hate, and I'm starting to just embrace it. It's like, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't go spending money crazy. I like to dress feminine and I like to dance and have fun. And that seems to cause all kinds of problems on here. I'm not getting naked. I'm scantily clad, but I'm a guy. I can get away with that. Girls cannot take off their shirts. It's too bad. I wish they could, but society won't tolerate it. I don't know, though. It'd be a little weird to see women shirtless in public. Though it would be fun, too. How's everybody doing? Look, my lipstick even matches my top. I'm having fun with the few fashions I have, just trying things. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate that. Yeah, and there's a lack of intelligence today. You guys see it all over these shorts and YouTube lives. You know what? Thank you for that, DG. You know, my problem is I worry too much about what people think. People say, oh, this is going to kill your channel. Is it? I did videos this morning and they're taking off. People want to put things in a nice, neat little box. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I love being feminine, Carol. I like being man and feminine. And people say, you're supposed to be a man. I am a man. Come to work and watch me. When I got to deal with something, watch me. You know, but I'm feminine too. Gotcha, Bonnie. Well, I hope the treatment goes okay. Do you have to use an oxygen tank as an assist? Thank you, Evan. And somebody got on here the other day and said, you know, you're a stumbling block to people. And I said, am I? People pretty much made the decision of where they're going to aim and where they're going to go in life. If people are gay, they're going to be gay. If people are lesbian, they're going to be lesbian. If they're straight, they're going to be straight. Then there's me. I'm not easy to wrap around because there's so much more than meets the eye. Thank you, Evan. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Michelle, did you see my videos? I'm sorry, I'm just having too much fun. I love to dance, and it's like you can't go to the club and do it. Everybody's drunk there. I noticed something. I watch men and women when I did go to the club. If they don't get alcohol in them, they'll just sit there like a bump on the log. Me, they're watching me going, men and women, man, I can't believe this guy. He just gets up and gets down and he doesn't even drink. And that inspires people. It does something to people. What is pansexual, Evan? Well, thank you, James, and thank you, guys. Not everybody who watches me is into men, but thank you for accepting me. And you know, I don't know. Last night I just came home and said, screw it. I'm gonna put on a little lipstick, wear a skimpy top, and have fun. This morning I just felt moved, some of the music, and I just thought, let's have fun with some fashion. Hi, Kenneth. Good to see you. How are you? Yeah, I don't have Zoom. I wish there was a way. I don't know why YouTube does not have a feature where I could click on you right now and pull you in and we could do side by side. It would be so easy for YouTube to do that. And it would extremely help the views for both of us. Because people like to see two people engaging and interacting. I'm all for that. Totally. Totally. People are so stuck in their little prison, you know? I like to be, I look at pictures of women that are models, that are classy. I love looking at black and white photography of women. I'm fascinated by women. And there is a part of me that I envy that. Sometimes I wish I was a female because they can express and get away with it. We men do that, you're a fag. There's something wrong with you. Have you ever watched men that ballet and figure skate? You think you're tough and you think that they're wussies. Try figure skating as a Russian and holding up a pretty Russian woman and doing what they do. And we'll see how tough you are. I think it's sad that we stigmatize everything. Hey, Fast Rose, how are you? Let's not spam the room with too much stuff, please. Hey, Chance, how are you? I think people are in a prison. All right, Fast Rose, last warning. You're spamming the room. Please stop, or I got to put you out. People don't like that. I am strong. I'm not the strongest, but all right. Time out, dude. Time out. You got to stop. You're blowing up the room with emojis and stuff. I don't like that. I know that, Chance. I know that. But it's part of my journey. And I accept the fact that not everybody agrees. I just don't like the hatred and the rudeness. Thank you, Nashul. I'm not familiar with Charles Carroll. I'm not sure who that is. Societal norms. I look back growing up under the folks that adopted me. Y'all know what oppressiveness is, right? Y'all know what oppressive culture is. Imagine me being who I am today. Imagine me growing up under a set of parents. Dad was overweight, but he worked downtown LA selling insurance for dams, airports, school districts, casinos. They used to hold the policy, Sam Alexander Insurance Services. I don't even know if they're still in the business anymore. And my dad not only worked for him, but he moved to Mammoth and was able to have a satellite office there and one in Prescott, Arizona. So my dad was blessed. His employer liked him so much that he let him move and do a satellite office. And my dad stayed with the same job all his life. I feel bad for my dad. He had a wife that was not nice. She was not a nice woman to him. And my dad did what he tried to do. I didn't have a good relationship with my father. And my dad was more sedentary. He was not, he liked driving in a truck. That's what got me into pickup trucks. He had a Dodge truck and I loved riding in the truck. But as far as relational, my dad and I grew up on the tail end of the Mayberry Opie generation, and we lived in small towns. We lived in LA, but I was never able to have a bond with my mother and father. I would never be able to talk about these things that I'm talking about on YouTube. Never. Not in a million years with them. Why is Islam bombing Lebanon? Who's bombing Lebanon? Iran? I don't know what's going on. I didn't see the news. Iran has been sending rockets and stuff over to Qatar and UAE. I don't know what their problem is. Why are they doing this to their Muslim neighbors? Can you imagine if they had a nuclear weapon? It's a good thing they don't. But my parents and I have zero in common except that we're humans. My parents both were chain smokers. My mother was not a passionate woman. She liked antiques, and I did catch a love for old world things because of that. But my mother and I were so opposite. I mean, I'm clean, I take care of stuff. She was that way too, but her house looked like a museum. And my mother was a stern, strict, domineering woman, and she wore the pants in the family. And I would never, if my mother looked in and saw this, she'd be mortified. She would not go for this. None of my family would go for this. None of them. That's right, Nashua. It's the truth. When the devil owns a soul, no need to harass. No chance I don't. She turned coat. My cousin and uncle had warned me years ago. They said, I know you have a close relationship with your sister, but she's not to be trusted. And no sooner they said that and I saw things. So I don't talk to her. And she's a believer. My sister, my cousin, we were all the black sheep of the family and we all got saved, which is ironic. And my sister's remarried to a white guy. She's Hispanic. I don't know him. I cut out years ago. And I just felt that it was better to move away. I was thinking about my cousin. who is, I'm going to wipe some of this lipstick off because I want to eat some granola. Wow, what a mess. Tell you what, I appreciate you women. It's hard to put on all that pretty stuff. But my cousin and I were getting close. She's 4 days younger than me. And my mother said, well, you guys aren't blood related. You could legally marry her. And I'm like, marry my cousin? You know, as a kid, I thought that was bizarre. But when I was in high school, she came up to visit. We were sitting there doing Mad Libs and talking with the wood stove going late into the night when everybody had fallen asleep. And I liked my cousin. I thought we were becoming close. And then she went back to California after the holidays. And I remember going to her in 1984. They were up for the Christmas break. And I just bought the new Duran Duran album, Wild Boys. She was in my room and I had that 6-foot-long stereo playing it. And I said, Jana, I'm afraid when I die, I'm going to hell. And all she did was look at me and say, you're not going to go to hell. She never told me the gospel, never told me anything. But we stayed up late one night. We were doing those Mad Libs and I was being so naughty, you know, use an adjective, and I'd put all this dirty stuff in there. And we were both laughing our butts off. When you read it back, you know, remember Mad Libs? Oh my gosh. You can really have fun with those, but especially when they were R-rated. Really, Chance? Well, thank you for that. Hello, Avita. I was wondering where you were. And you have a good day at work. I'm going eventually myself. The only people I have contact with are my uncle and my cousin from that family. The rest, no. The thing that bothered me about Jana, she went back to LA and she wrote a letter saying, and at Hallmark, when I care enough to send the very best. And what I did not know then, and I would get to know later, Jana was very self-absorbed. It was all about her. At the time, I did not realize what was taking on our culture, that a lot of women are just entitled narcissists. She worked at Nordstrom's. She ended up getting married, had a baby, buy Baby Gap clothes for the baby. She'd come down for the holidays and brag about the ring that her boyfriend bought her, and be late for family gatherings and walk in an hour late when everybody held up Thanksgiving dinner. And my uncle one day just said, Jana, I could care less about your ring. We've all been waiting for you and you just walk in like la-di-da. Oh, she got so butthurt, her boyfriend left. And she's still that way to this day. Nothing has shifted. And she's recently remarried. But what was interesting is she became extremely close to my sister, who's a devout Mormon. And when I got saved, you know, you'd think that if she was a Christian, my cousin would have really communicated. Not at all. My family dynamic is very screwy, very upside down. I don't have any contact. My mother is in her 80s now. I haven't talked to her since the last time I spoke with her, probably around 2009, maybe in there, 2010. And my dad. That was it. That's, 16 years ago. Why you lit, Chance? No, she's a cousin. But my family, you know, when I was a kid, my grandma, my aunts, they loved me. When I became an adult, I had such fond memories of them, and when I became an adult, I saw this ugliness in them. And it was because I'd become a Christian, and now they were showing themselves to be who they really were. And I kept trying to get along with the family, and it didn't work. Once I became an adult, thought for myself, and got saved, whatever okay relationships I have with everybody, those just exploded. And it's true. The Bible is so true. When you know, a prophet is without honor in his own country. Jesus said that about himself. And I'm not a prophet, but when you get saved, your peer group and your parents are going to be like, no, no. Wow, ideals. Do I love them? I can't answer that. My mother signed birthday cards and Christmas cards the same every year. Lots of love, Mom and Dad. It became so insincere. My dad didn't go and select gifts. He did one time. My mother was not a happy woman. And she tried to give the illusion that everything was well. And then later on, she blamed me for the struggle she had with my father. I said, how am I to blame for that? You guys and your relationship has nothing to do with me. And my mother did not ever accept personal responsibility. So people get on here and ask, did you go through abuse that you dressed like a woman? Well, as a matter of fact, I did, but that's not why I do this. If I'd have grown up in a well-adjusted family, would I do this? I don't know, because I haven't been there. You know, people, they ask me, how do you get around that verse in Deuteronomy? I don't get around it. I just say we're not under law. How do you get around the verse say don't eat pork? And Christians eat pork. You know, and Peter's sheet was let down, and God said, call nothing unclean. Peter was going to go to the Gentiles, and there was going to be a real problem if he had to stick to a kosher diet. So, does God change? He does not. The Bible says he doesn't change. But there are things in Scripture that ignorant minds may say is contradictory. Really, ideals. Wow, a pregnant nun. Oh my gosh. Chance, I lived in the shed that was attached to the garage at Iron Springs Road in Prescott. My mother didn't want me in the house. And that sent a message to me. I ended up realizing I had freedom as a high school student to play my music and stay up, and it didn't disturb my parents. So that actually turned out to be a blessing. But it also made me realize my mother does not want me near. Chance, it's hard for me to engage with that. You're under the influence of alcohol. I mean, I love you, but I wish you wouldn't do that. I pray every day that God would just help me get through the day, because there's scars and there's things that will never be resolved. Really, ideals. Interesting. And Chance, I'm not hating on you. I just, as people disagree with some of the things, I disagree with some of what people involve themselves in. I don't hate. And Chance, I face life with all of this, and I don't go to a substance. And I'll tell you what, I get mocked by people who drink and smoke pot. They're so mad that I'm against it. When I went down to the Soul Bar downtown, watching people drink, I'm just like, wow, why did they do that? And they couldn't understand why I'd get up and dance and have fun and I wasn't drinking. I am self-conscious in public, very much so. I have to feel comfortable before I'll get up and dance. Why are you mad at God, Ideals? I'm not mocking you. I'm not mocking you. Why would you think I'm mocking you? I didn't say you were mocking me. Yes, Chris. Got it, Ideals. Now, Ideals, can I ask a question? Are you male or female? Because I don't know. Look, we all have to face it. I get angry at God. I get angry at God too. Thank you, Edward, and welcome. There are things God allows and or does that I don't understand or agree with, but guess what? Male farmer got it. What I would do is confess that to him. Ideals, I would hash it out. I'd go out in that field and get you working and say, God, I'm angry. He can handle it. At least you're talking to him if you do that. Well, hey, KT, where have you been? And good to see you. I had to look for a minute. I thought you were a ghost. It's okay to get mad. He can handle it. And we need, when we're mad, instead of being bitter, let it out. Tell him. Tell him. He can handle it. You're in Down Under, Ideals? Well, Katie, that happens. I wasn't good at picking wives, that's for sure. Now I've been single for years, and it's pros and cons. Chance, we have to. Better to communicate than to not communicate. The devil wants you to be silent and listen to his lies. When you're talking to God, you can't hear the devil. And it's okay to tell God, I'm angry about this. I don't like that you did this. I hurt. He wants you to be brutally honest. God wants me to be honest. God, I like wearing women's clothes. I know it may not please you, but I enjoy doing this. And maybe one day I'll get to a point where I'm so close to God that I take it all off and stop. I'm not there yet. And it doesn't mean he loves me any less. Thank you, Ideals. That's right. And part of my journey to manhood was coming here and buying this house. I had worked on a house in Minnesota, but I hired a lot of contractors to do the hard stuff. I came out here and I did the hard stuff and the remodel. The only thing I didn't do was I had them put on the roof and I had my plumber redo the plumbing and put in the water heater. But I did everything that you can see with the eyes. And it's been tough. Katie, no problem. And the truth is we make choices. Sometimes we make a choice. There was a short yesterday. It was one of those Hallmark shorts. I don't like those. Not Hallmark, but Hallmark style. You know, we asked God to save our marriage and he didn't. Did it ever dawn on you that verse? It says, what God has joined together, let not man separate. Did God join the two together or did you guys do it? We think when we become a Christian that God blesses every decision we make. If we make a decision in the flesh and expect God to bless it, we're clowns. God can turn things around, but oftentimes he lets us reap the bitter fruit of our own stupidity. And we have nobody to blame. We can't blame him. You got to blame you. I got to blame me for the crappy marriages I got involved in. I can't blame my wife. I blame me for not vetting her, for not listening to God, for being anxious and churning. That's what happens. Oh, I want that truck. I want that. Oh, I want to get in debt for that truck. And then you get it and then you have problems with it and then you're mad at God. Hey, that churning was telling you don't have peace and you shouldn't have bought it. And you shouldn't have dated that person. Date, yeah, but you shouldn't have mated her. You should have married her or him. Hello, Koosh. Don't feel like an idiot, Katie. Learn from it. If you go to church, go talk to your pastor about it. Totally recommend that. Go get some pastoral help, not psychologists. Most importantly, pour out your heart to God and listen to him, Katie. I'm all right, Kush. How are you and where are you from? Thank you for that, Edward. I appreciate that. Oh, I get a lot of flack for that. Katie, don't be despondent. I understand it's hard. Go to church, talk to a pastor. I will not tell you what you need to do regarding your marriage because I don't know all the circumstances and I'm not qualified. Welcome from the UK. Edward, we got a lot of good UK, Scots, Irish, Australia, New Zealand, and Canadians in here too, which is awesome. Well, Ashley Church is actually the local congregation that you attend. Yes, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. But we always need to be careful. We should go to church with a pastor, with deacons, elders, and we should discipline ourselves to go to church. I've had my issues with church, but I still go. The church people suck. But my pastor preached the truth, and I get something out of that, and I go. It's important. I like some poetry. I've written some years ago. It's very comfy. I don't know if it's real silk, but it feels silky. I love that satiny, silky feel. I thought I'd just throw this together. It was kind of fun. Someone farted on me at church. I was reading years ago about Boy George. Boy George was a trip. I liked some of his music, but he was out there. Definitely gay. He was deeply into drugs. But he's from the UK, and he remembers his most memorable experience of church is when his brother pulled his pants down. Yeah, Boy George does not have a relationship with God. And I don't even know where he is. Is he still alive? He looked terrible. He got deep into drug addiction years ago. We really should pray for the guy. Well, I got you, Ashley. There are churches that stay true to the truth. I've been to a lot of bad ones. But I find people who don't go to church and reject it altogether don't grow as much as those who do. And I'll tell you, Ashley, I don't like a lot of people in church. They're phony balonies, and I don't got time for that. But my pastor is true to the word. And I respect him, and that's what I need. Did he die, Katie? No, I woke up at 12:50 this morning. And I'll go all day and come home and do it again tonight. Ugh. Ah. Yawning is not always tired. A lot of churches, Kush. I've been to several here in Augusta. On a people level, they're a complete waste of time. I didn't realize that, Katie. People fuss when I eat on here. Chance, you know that. They fuss, fuss, fuss. I don't like the sound of that crunching. Now, there's two women that said, I can't remember the name of it, but it's some sort of a thing where listening or chewing or whatever really bothers them, and it specifically has to do with noise. George Michael died? I thought he was still alive. You want to hear a hard truth? Gay men, for some reason, have a huge amount of talent. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Look at Elton John. I don't like Elton John. I've never been an Elton John-y guy. My sister was into him. My older sister, I remember in Torrance, Benny and the Jets, all the time. Freddie Mercury, absolutely gay. George Michael, Boy George, Elton John. People try to say Duran Duran was, but I read nothing, saw nothing that even hinted at that. I loved Duran Duran in high school. They were a hair band, and I loved their music. I love that song, Shadows on Your Side, Reflex, Union of the Snake, Wild Boys. Some people laughed at me for liking Duran Duran. I think they had some good stuff. I thought Boy George was still alive. Edward, thank you for that. That's awesome. Lead singer had no rhythm. Who? You're not talking Simon Le Bon, are you? Was he the lead? Oh no. I like their music. There you go, Dennis. Hey, Holland, how are you? And welcome. You have to admit, okay, I'm not a fan of Ellen DeGeneres, but she did an amazing job for the voice of Dory. She did it well for Finding Nemo. And we have to recognize that there's a lot of stuff. We try to fit everything in a nice, neat little box. Did you know that there's men that are gay and they don't wear rainbow panties and they don't walk around talking like this? They got 4x4s They live out in the country. They wear a cowboy hat. They listen to country music. And they got a wife. And you would never know it. You know, people have a box view of things. There's women that are happily married to their husband. And they got a girlfriend that they're involved with. Physically. Not everything is cut and dried. Sin is sin. Was she really? I did not know that. Yes, Katie, I never liked Ellen. We always call her Ellen DeGenerate. I didn't like Rosie O'Donnell. When I was married to my wife for 14 years, she subscribed to her magazine. She was walking down the hall with her Rosie O'Donnell. She looked at me and grinned. She goes, I'm going to go sit in the bathroom and read my gay lady Rosie. My ex-wife was not into gay women, but she liked Rosie O'Donnell. She didn't like her that way. What is ironic about my ex of 14 years, and even my son said it to her, she had her hair short and spiky, and he said, you look like a lesbian, and she got very upset at that. I'm like, well, she does. She's not into women, though. I heard. That's right, Ashley, but what do we do when I'm a Christian and there's certain sins I love and there's certain sins you love and there's certain sins everybody in this room loves? You know, people come in, well, you need to stop it. Yeah, that's easy. You just flip the circuit breaker off and no more, right? My sin isn't alcohol. It isn't pot. It isn't any of that. My sin is the natural desires that God gave me. That I feel like, why am I supposed to fight against lust? Woman walks by dressed like this, I'm going to look and go, wow, that's a nice view. I used to get really upset about that. Now I don't. I'm just like, okay, soft bra, everything's poking through, nice. Sometimes I get mad. I get mad at these women prancing around on YouTube, TikTok, and all over the internet being scantily clad with no intention of actually finding a man and being intimate and bedding down with him. They just want to be little SLUT teases all over the internet. So I saw that and something in me said, I'm going to try dressing the way these women are. I want to see what happens. Woo, did I get the hate? Well, did I get the hate? I said, see, nobody will say anything to these women doing that. But boy, they sure, that ain't right, Mike. It ain't right that they're doing it either, but because they're a woman and you're sitting there getting an erection over it, you don't care. Interesting how that works. I don't drink milk, dude. I didn't do this when I was married. It was never even my radar. When I was married, I tried to be a person of the law as a Christian. I tried to do what I was supposed to do as a Christian man. I was very rigid. Very rigid. Hello, Scott. How are you? Chance, and I'm going to struggle with it until my sex drive goes away, or my brain rots in my head, or God takes me home. I asked them, why is it some of us men, I'm 60, people said, oh, your sex drive will decrease at 40. At 40, it just stood up and said, "Want a bet?" I'm viral as all get out. I could have fathered a tribe. I could have fathered a nation. I'm glad I didn't. Milk is gross. It's for cows, not people. Better ways to get calcium. Now, I do like cheese. Milk causes too much phlegm. Katie, and that's what bothers me. Women will do that. They'll become lesbian or become pet obsessed. They never learn to process their pain and be well adapted. Me, I've been through a lot of bad relationships with women. I could not marry and date a guy. I have said on here it'd be fun to dress like this. And some guys say, let's go to a nice restaurant. They're like, yeah, okay, no touch. Wish I had a hidden camera so we could play that. When Tina was living here, I wore a dress. We both went downtown one night. Absolute fun. Guys held doors open for us. Guys said, good evening, ladies. We were waiting to cross the street in the middle of the block, and the car stopped. I said, now, if it's just me in my regular clothing, no one's going to stop for me. The cars just keep going, and I got to wait for the traffic to clear. So I noticed when I was dressed like a woman, they thought I was a woman. I got better treatment. I dated an Asian girl in Denver years ago, and she used to chuckle and say, you'd make a good houseboy. I said, what the heck is that? He said, oh, there's gay men here that would love. You could live there rent-free, and they would love having you around. I said, no way. She went to the bathroom, and on her bed, she had this skimpy little spaghetti straps top, satin, red. I put it on. She come out. She goes, oh, my gosh. She started laughing. She goes, you look better than that than I do. You can have it. I said, I'd love to, but I'm not going to do that here. So I didn't do it then. I wish I had that top. It was absolutely awesome. Sharon and I had a very weird relationship. She was not a believer. She could not be reached through normal physical intercourse. She said that having regular sex did not work. She loved the making out and the touching. But I'm not being rude, but I would use my fingers, which I was very good at. And we role play stuff. And I hate to say it, it was naughty, but we role played when we were together. Oh my gosh, every day we never got tired of it. No, we didn't wear fuzzy handcuffs or anything, but we'd imagine scenarios and I'd talk them out, she'd talk them out, and it just lit us both up. Sharon physically was the best woman I ever had because every time we were together, we just had erotic fun. I've never had a woman like that before or since. But she wasn't a Christian and she was left-leaning all the way. Thank you, Ashley. Well, you know, Rhythm, grow up and get a pair. I'm 60, bro. I'm quite grown up. I modeled this house myself. I work in a warehouse. Shut it. If you don't have anything good to say, go stalk another channel. But I'm going to say something. Let's talk about this, men and women. You're married or you're with somebody. I need to go to bed. I set the chat to 5 minutes thinking we'd have no problem, and the clowns are coming in. Do I need to start kicking some clowns out of the room? Or can you clowns get it together and maintain some sort of decorum? I look delusional. What does delusional look like, dude? I have more intelligence coming through me than you ever will. Goodbye. Bye. Well, 24 Goat just became the scapegoat, and he's out the door. That was bad. Bye. I don't use any aftershave at all. I don't like the smell of aftershave. I actually use perfumes and women's body sprays. I love them. Not on my face, though. Holland, married 33 years. Good for you. That's awesome. That's good. But even a married Christian couple, you know, the old song, "The thrill is gone," is real. How do you master that? How is it that you can have a guy with a strong sex drive and a woman doesn't? I mean, that just blows me away. Guy that works in our wood shop building the crates for shipping heavy truck parts. He was telling me the other day, he's dating a 190-pound woman with hairy armpits. That to me is just gross. But I didn't say that. He said, "I don't have a sex drive." I said, "You don't?" He goes, "No." He said, "I have low testosterone." And I looked him in the eye. I said, "Is that why you're a whiny little B-word to me sometimes?" "No, it's got nothing to do with that." "I know, Moto, I'm better looking than you at 60 than you'll ever be. Isn't that awesome? Take your barf bag somewhere else, Bray." You waited 5 minutes to come in and be rude. How mature. Baiting, I'm going to work soon myself. I'll have to catch up with you later. How are you? But let me say this. He told me he had low testosterone, so he doesn't have a sex drive. So I said, "So what affects testosterone?" He says, "Not eating right foods." He said, "You got to eat more vegetables and stuff like that." And he'll buy junk food for lunch and have it Ubered over at work. I always like to learn, so I ask people questions. Right now, it's Kenneth Cole Black. I just bought it. It's good stuff. Yeah, she informed me, and I hope you're not offended, Boldo. I asked her some questions, and I don't disrespect you ever. I had some questions because she knows you well. Please don't ever be offended. You know the way I am and the way I question and want to understand things. Good, because I don't hate you. I respect you. I'm going to say this. I don't know if I like that you do rage baiting. I'm beginning to learn what that is, and we're talking about an individual, and my channel, I don't take that philosophy. But you as a person, you and I are solid, and I appreciate you. Edward, I think some people are ignorant about sex drive. When you get saved, people act like you're not supposed to have one, that you can only have one if you're married. Well, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. He's not a new mod. He has his own stream. He's got quite a bit of a following, more than me. Bridget is friends with him and has known him for a while. He's out of New Jersey and he streams regularly. We have a lot in common as far as conservative views and thinking outside the box. Well, I like to say I'm under the sign of the cross because I'm Pisces, but I don't put any stock in that. I'm a dirty old woman. Sometimes dirty old women are the best. I don't like people that are so righteous that they're uptight. This coworker, raised in a Christian school, he has no joy. He trudges into work. The freight guy says good morning. He has a donkey on his acreage. I feel sorry for the donkey. That donkey's probably saying, dude, you're Eeyore. Chance, I don't think Jesus followed the zodiac, but that's just my belief. Noodles, are you still here? Thank you, Quick. I appreciate that. Now, sometimes I confront him quick because I need to. Other times I throw him out of the room. Some people have the idea we're Christians and we're so pure and upright. We're not. We need to be saved. We are saved. And transformation is a process. I like that commercial. Frosted Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious. That is not the way the Christian life works. That is not the way the Christian life works. You guys are getting double blessed. I did 3 shorts, dancing and having fun. I feel like just dancing in front of you all. What the heck? Normally I need music. I don't know what's going on. My biorhythm is out of whack the last couple days. That's okay. Have you ever slept so hard? I went to bed last night. I woke up and the blankets weren't even moved. I'm like, woo, I slept solid. Men and women, let's have confession time. Have you ever in your life woke up, blankets were all over the place, and all your clothes were off, and nobody's in your room? I've had that happen. I'm like, what the heck happened last night that I didn't know about? All my clothes are off. The blankets are everywhere. What was going on in here? I don't remember any of this. Ashley, you can look into my, go to my channel and hit playlists. I have beautiful 80s, Godward, Classical Heaven, Pacific's Favorites. Oh, I got lots of wide variety. No, it's not haunted. European. Does a man take estrogen? Too bad I didn't start younger. I could have taken a steroid and grown boobs. Now that would have been fun. I'd look good with about 2 inches of it. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not going to do that. then that causes other problems. Got it. You just go to my channel. You can see live shorts, videos, playlists, and it'll open up a whole bunch of. Hey, Charlie, welcome from down under. Katie, thank you for the compliment. Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. I like to have fun, sensual included. And I'm not even involved with anybody. I haven't dated in 8 years. I express. And it lights firecrackers with people. They just get so stupid. I'm not Bruce Jenner European. I can't be Bruce Jenner because I'm not Bruce Jenner. I'm just Michael having fun. Bruce Jenner does not look good in feminine attire. Okay? A lot of men that embark on cross-dressing don't rock it at all. They don't. They almost all look the same. They look like herons with big glasses, the same hairstyle, and you're like, that's right, Ashley. Hey, Erica, where have you been? Erica's another fine lady. I have to look close sometimes to read the comments. My eyes, even with glasses, I have to take them off to read the fine print. Thank you, Katie. It took a while to gain traction. So after Hurricane Helene roared through here, damaged my house, blew up the whole neighborhood and all of Augusta, and none of us thought it would happen at all. Never had a hurricane hit Augusta, ever. The Outer Banks, there was some rain and winds, but oh no, the eye wall came over my house. I woke up at 2 o'clock Friday morning, September 27th, started to put on Facebook, well, yesterday they told us no work today because we're going to have a big hurricane. They lied. I was just starting to type in. It wasn't raining. It wasn't blowing. It was calm. As I started to type, the lights went blink, 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 boom. Why is the power going out? When looked out the window. Lights came back on. No wind, no rain. Lights flickered on and off again. What is going on? Within 30 minutes, full bore. Oh boy. Trees snapping, cracking, popping, breaking. I went out to move the truck and Tina's car in the backyard. An hour later, that oak came down, would have crushed my truck. And when I walked out there, little pieces of oak sprigs and acorns were hitting me in the head, the face. My driveway was standing water. All that quick. Unbelievable. I started this channel a month after that. I dumped my internet. It was $72 a month just so I could use my laptop. I don't bundle. I don't have cable. And I said, all right. And I got on a different phone plan that cheapened my bill. And I thought, shorts. What can I do in 15 seconds? I didn't know you could increase it to 3 minutes or 60. And I had to get 50 subs before I go live. I never would have dreamed that this would go up to 12,000 plus subs. So I'm pleased with the channel. Well, that's cool, Chance. Thank you. Erica, I love this. It's very... Somebody said I look like grandma. I'm like, well, yeah, my grandma didn't wear these. They didn't do that at all. I love to dance and to express. It's just, it makes me feel good. Sometimes when I'm not even on the shorts, I'll just come in, I'll hear the music, and I'm like doing it, going at it. I'll be cleaning the house. I'll stop and grab the broom and dance with it. That's awesome. How do I say your name? Re or retail. Wait a minute. I don't know how to say that, so I have to call you Holland. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. When I have the music, it just does something to me. And people ask, why do you shave under here? Because I feel sexier without hair. I like to be clean and smooth, and I like to just express. And men are not allowed to do that in this society without the stigma of being called gay. Spanish classical composer. I don't remember his name, but he created a masterpiece for his dying wife. He loved her. And I cannot do it justice. Arenois, da 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 da. Man, I feel the passion in that. It's beautiful. We don't have that in our society in men at all. Men in America are sick. My twuck, my lift kit, my gun, my beer. That's it. There's no depth and no soul and no passion in men. So when men in 2026 see me doing this, WTF, there's something wrong with that guy. No, actually there isn't. I've been set free. Why would you be jealous of my confidence, Holland? I just assumed that women just had confidence, period. Yeah, I don't like hair under my arms. I don't like it on a woman. I do not like it when I'm in public and men wear short sleeve shirts and they're in a store in front of me and mass BO and 6 inches of pit hair. It's like, if you're going to wear that, shave it. Most men are gross anyway. I couldn't be gay. Most men are just gross. And doing this in the bumpus, that's nasty. I don't understand. And people make wrong, bold assertions about me because they see me dancing. Well, thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. But it takes some growing pains. So many people are so violent endorsing. I'm sorry, I'm going to step on toes. I don't believe in GTA. You're going to play video games stealing cars. And you're going to tell me that doesn't have an impact on morals or violence. I'm going to look in the eye and say, bull crap. But you'll come on here and say something about me and the way I'm dressed. This doesn't cause people to kill themselves or steal. I don't know why men can't be in touch. Men used to lead the way in dance. It is men in Hollywood that did choreography. All the great musicals, the women didn't come up with that. The men did, the producers. You want to hear good music? Go look at Henry Mancini, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Peter Gunn, the Pink Panther. He wrote all that. He worked for MGM. I read about him. He had the best freaking job in the world. He said he worked for MGM as a music writer for movie scores. He said, I got to have fun. Before everything became so corporate and micromanaged, he said, I got to just have a free spirit and have fun. Henry Mancini is a legend. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. That weird guy with the big nose, angry, and Pink Panther's doing what Pink Panther does best. That was awesome. Oh, I love Flashdance. I love that woman is erotic. And I believe she's got a top like this song. Oh my gosh. What a feeling. Keeps believing. I love passion. People think that because I do this, I'm into gay, fruity men. I have nothing to do with gay and fruity men. Nothing. Nothing. I'm not, that doesn't do anything for me. Like I said, I'm not into Elton John. Elton John was a great musician and writer, but I never did like Elton John's music. I never liked Queen, except Bohemian Rhapsody. As a kid, we Will Rock You. I don't like it now. It was a fun song as a kid to stomp our feet on the bus. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over that place. It became American football music. Absolutely, Erica. And the obsession with anything. I always tell people this, whether it's a church, isms, KGV onlyism, churches that believe you need to speak in tongues if you're truly saved, people that believe you're going to lose your salvation. They're what I call hobby horse churches. All of them false views, and they ride it and ride it and ride it, and that's all they talk about. I've been there. I have been there. Years ago, I had yellow fever. I got turned on to Asia. Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Hong Kong. Philippines. As years go by, I've become tempered, more well-rounded. My former channel was limited by me because I just talked only about women. Now we talk about everything. And what's ironic is my channel now versus then. Pacific Ocean Asia drew nothing but men and a few women. Now it draws more women than men. And I consider that a victory because I didn't try to do that. It means that I've grown and people of both sexes want to hear the message. So to me, that's a score. If you're called to public speaking, you should be able to reach all people, not just a group. My opinion. Gershwin was awesome. I don't like when a commercial takes quality music and puts it on their sicko ad. Two pieces of music that I love. Aaron Copland was America's composer. He did Appalachian Spring. I believe he did you do Fanfare for the Common Man? Which that used to be done at the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. Dun, 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 dun. But they took a Copland great and put it to a beef commercial. I hate that. They took Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue and slapped it on American Airlines. Rhapsody in Blue is a very complex piece of music. All the instrumentation in that, beautiful. Da 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 dun 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 dun. Ooh. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that today. Porgy and Bess, Katie, one of the best by Gershwin. And Audrey McDonald, beautiful black one. Summertime, when the living is easy. La da 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 da. Da 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 da. I melt when I hear that piece. Catfish Row. There's a boat that's leaving soon for New York, sister. They don't make music like that. Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, musicals. Hi, Tans. You're never out of sync. Just slide down in that seat right there, shift it into gear, and get on board, baby. We're going full blast. Vivaldi, Pachelbel's Canon. I love. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Tear, was it Del Fuego? Da-da-da, that pipe organ. I want that as my doorbell. Not on this house, but it'd be fun to have iron gates 12 feet high with the spikes. Go ahead, climb over my fence and slip. Bye. I'd love to have these big, majestic doors and somebody rings the doorbell. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, the whole floor shakes. Now that's a pipe organ. I love the old theater organs. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? And you see the Wurlitzer, the hole in the stage, and this thing is slowly rotating as it comes up, and the guy's playing it. They did that to get rid of expensive orchestras. Phantom of the Opera. Everybody's talking to me. I don't remember that, Chance. Country music, I'm very limited on that because I don't like a lot of today's modern stuff. Kenny Rogers is about as country as I'll get. I like Kenny Rogers. Ronnie Millsap had some good stuff. Eddie Rabbitt. I don't know if Eddie Rabbitt's pop or country. Handel's windshield wiper, slapping out a tempo, keeping perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. Gotta keep rolling. Yeah, that was good stuff. Debussy, Clair de Lune. La Mer, the sea. Debussy considered his stuff trash. Did you know that? Did you know that Vincent van Gogh was a loser? Lived on his brother's income, wanted to be a preacher, had a problem with alcoholism. He very well could have been bipolar. He didn't make a living off his art. It wasn't until after he left the world that his art became something. Now that's sad. That song by Don McLean, you ought to listen to it. It's about him. Starry, starry night. La da 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 da. The world was never made for someone as beautiful as you, Vincent. Johnny Cash had some good stuff, yes. Devil Went Down to Georgia is a good one, absolutely. Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings had some good stuff. Did you know Sarah Brightman and Andrew Lloyd Webber had a fling some time ago. The phantom of the opera is there inside my mind. Music like that, and no offense, people listening to this offensive, noisy, profane, with the N-word, the F-word, I'm going to step on toes. That is not music. That is not talent. It's trash. It's tribalism. I've heard of Sheryl Crow, but I'm not familiar with her works. Colette. Absolutely, Chance. Nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation. Another one of my favorite, America's composer of many all-time hit movies. He did the music to NBC's Nightly News. Dun, 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 dun. The only news station that had the best intro music ever. I would love to have a show, and that would be my theme. Another one I like is Kunta Sahabat, which is done by Max Serban. He was born in 1938, still alive. He's a Filipino, and he did some very humorous and fun Tagalog music. Most Americans don't and would have never heard of him. I like music from around the globe. I like listening to Hindi and India stuff, especially Bollywood. Oh my gosh, the women in Bollywood, all the bracelets, all that apparel, they're stunning. Love all that jewelry. It is an assault, Colette. Every time I hear that crap come down the road, I feel the devil. And this is where America is so disjointed. Grown men thinking they're grown men because they drive down the street. Boom, boom. You are retarded. You are not a man. You're a boy, but you're not a man. Tribalism. Tribalism. Josh, thanks for your honesty. I like to dress this way sometimes because it's fun and I enjoy it. But my mind is fully intact. I'm just a deep person. And you can tell a lot about a people by what they're listening to. People who have an appreciation for classical music, do you ever see them starting riots? Do you see them stealing TVs? Do you ever hear of them committing serial criminal behavior? I rest my case. I see women in their cars listening to, pardon the French, shitey music. I'm like, yep, that'd be somebody to avoid dating. There's a whole attitude that goes with what they're listening to. Pay attention, gentlemen. That's right, Colette. Boys in a man's world. You know, out here, you got these cats. They hate the police, but they buy a police car, Crown Vic. Put pimpy rims this side with spinners on them. Spend more for the rims and the stereo than the car. They won't buy a house. They won't be a father. They'll make love to all these black women, have their little tribe out there and write off and not pay child support. And the same will come down my street and look at me with the size up look. You are not a man, you're a shell. I mean, give me a break. Owning a home is more important than a damn show-off ride. There's no value in it. No value in a ride. I liked Dionne Warwick. A lot of people laugh at me about that. Back in 66, she was beautiful. Don't make me over. As a black woman that wasn't all doctored up by today's, sprayed on chicks, she was striking and exotic. Those interesting eyebrows. Don't get me wrong, but I would have loved her down. She was beautiful. Today is manufactured music, manufactured beauty. I'm sorry, Angelina Jolie, these women of today got nothing on the 20s and 30s of the Hollywood who's who. My grandpa had a black and white photo album in the bathroom. I called it soft porn. In the 50s, the women had the torpedo bras, leading men to believe that they were shaped like that. They weren't. Bras are smoke and mirrors. I've learned that. I learned that about Luna in Hong Kong. She was dancing and she looked really awesome. And I said, wow, who is that singing? She sounds professional. She had sung for a living. She motioned me. I got near her and we were dancing, and she's my age. She's solid muscle, beautiful woman. And I noticed that the bra, she's very flat. She had a build-out bra. But I was fooled. And I did make love with her many times. She was a knockout. And she wasn't flabby and cottage cheese. She was muscle. And man, we had fun. We'd go to Llama Island. The two of us were crazy together. And it's wild when you look at what's going on today. It's just so different. No, I don't remember Nadia. Erica, the women in Hollywood back in the 20s and the 30s were just pretty. Even, I got to think of her name, Katharine Hepburn, who had more strong features. And if you read about her, she liked ladies too. Some of them met up and had some physical involvement with other women. I was in, who's the woman that played Dorothy in Wizard of Oz? What was her name? Not Hepburn. Who was it? I was at her house in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. It's been made a museum. I took a busload of kids out there for a field trip. What was her dang name? Judy Garland, yes. Her home was in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. And it was Wizard of Oz stuff all in there. I didn't know she was from there. Greta Garbo. Her hair is Harlow gold, her lips sweet surprise. She's pure as New York snow, she got Betty Davis eyes. She'll turn the music on you, you won't have to think twice. I used to sing that in Hong Kong and the women loved it. I love Kim Carnes. When she came out with that song, the music caught me. I didn't know. When I was a kid, music got my attention. I didn't hear the lyrics until I was older. I listened to that. It was all keyboard. I love people who have ADD. I love synthesizers. There's so much going on with electronic music. And it was good for an ADD guy. It's like you had this and all those sounds. And I had a guy at Voyager Bus Company in Duluth, Craig Taylor. Yeah, boring man. Sit and talk about his Chevy truck and what it was like when he was living in Alaska, And that all has its place. But one day he looked at me and said, I'd like to see what your mind looks like. I bet you it's like a pinball machine or an arcade game in there. Ping, 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 all these lights. I started laughing. I said, now you're starting to understand me, aren't you? Everybody laughed. They said, that's funny. It's true. I don't think like most men. Most men don't like me. They think I'm weird. And to them, I would be. Thank you, Katie. And a broad band. No, I liked some Pink Floyd. Money, ka-ching, dong, 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 money. Na 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 na. I liked the Cars. Oh yeah. Asia spent like $250,000 for their keyboards, I was told. I was in Metro Center, which is a mall in Phoenix. I don't know if it's still there. 100 miles away from Preston. We go down there. We went into a store that had keyboards and organs. And they had, it looked like a doggone Wurlitzer. And the guy wanted to say, you want to see a demonstration of this? Oh my gosh, it was impressive. He said, it's got every sound. We got synthetics. We got everything. Toccaro in Del Fuego. That's that. And then when they push that low note on the organ, I mean, it'll shake a castle floor. I love a pipe organ. Oh my gosh. They got a guy, what is his name? He plays one of those theater organs. And he's such a happy, these men are so dapper, and they get on that organ. Their feet are going all down here, and they are having fun. And I'm like, look at the music back then. Look at people got into it. I love that song, Babe, and I like Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo. Domo. It does, Chance. It absolutely does. Didn't get into Elvis, did not get into the Beatles, did not get into Marilyn Monroe. She was overrated. I'm going to tell you something that will shock every lady here. I have a dichotomy that makes no sense. I'm guilty of looking online at ladies, kissing ladies, and they show some of these ladies are very beautiful. And they got the orange and the blue, the mascara up on the eyelids. And they look like SLUTs, but yet I'm attracted to that on the one hand. Very sexy. But when you put Marilyn Monroe against Jackie Kennedy, I'd pick Jackie first. I'll bet you Jackie was way more of a lover than Marilyn. And Jackie was pretty. I'm partial to black-haired women myself anyway. Something about raven-haired women drives me crazy. They can talk about blondes have more fun. I love black hair. Hey, Dells, how are you? It's too much time on my hands. Too much time on my hands. And all the alarm clocks go off. Dells, what's going on? Are you doing well? People are now making fun of my little trademarks. I love it. That means you're listening. Oh, really, European? Yes, they are, Erica. Yes, they are. And they even have a section in the PORN industry called Nerd Nudes. I'm laughing because they wear glasses. Guys, don't ever underestimate that girl wearing glasses. You think it's nerdy? I can't say this because I'll get in trouble. But I'm going to say it as tastefully as I can. When their top is off, you'd never have any idea how perfect they are. So, people judge a book by its cover. Some of those seemingly plain Jane women, they'll knock you out. The ones that are in Hollywood, they're overrated. They're manufactured. They got more googolop on them to mask smells and odors and flaws and cottage cheese and cellulite. And some of the plain Jane women, there was a gal that was somewhat plain Jane. She was flat-chested and she kept making eyes at me at the Crown Hill in Lakewood, Colorado. Finally, she turned around and went my direction. Another time I was walking and she and I made love in 3 foot of wild Colorado grass, literally 100 feet off the path at a public park at night. Nobody saw us, and man, was that awesome. You would never know by looking at her. Tell you what, she was awesome. Life, people try to put labels on everything. I've been surprised. Hi, Vicky. How are you? Where is her house, European? She said, Marilyn didn't do anything to me. She's blonde. She's a stereotypical thing that all the guys drool over. I'm trying to think of the woman. She almost looked French. 60s, 70s. She was flat-chested. What was her name? Oh, she was stunning. She did model fashions. What was her name? She was a 10. Some of those flat-chested models over there in Europe were, ooh, they rocked it. And I think America has not Betty Davis. I'll think of her name. I have to look it up. America's had a fascination with the bigger chested women. And other countries have felt insecure because of that. When I was in the Philippines, the Filipinas, every one of them would tell me, why you like me? I'm not like American women who have big suso. Suso is a Philippine Tagalog word for breast. I said, so you think because you have smaller breasts, you're less pretty? I prefer smaller breasted women. Because when they're my age, they can still poke my eyes out. And they're not down here where I got to reach down to touch them. Just saying. Not all women sag. I get that. But everybody has beauty that attracts somebody. Not Gene Kelly, not Rita. It wasn't an actress. Barbara Stanwyck was beautiful. You know who was very beautiful was Barbara Eden, Jeannie. Oh my gosh. Woo! I thought Ginger on Gilligan. Marianne was pretty, but Ginger, when I was a kid, I admit I was attracted to Ginger, but Ginger would pour it on. She was a little seductress. Catherine Bach was sexy, but she's a bit overrated. America pushed the bigger chested women to the front. They always did. Hey, Mama, how are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. Grace Kelly. What is the woman's name? She was a model. You see her mostly black and white photography, women's fashions. And she'd have a woman's overcoat on with no bra. She was extremely small-chested. She was stunning. She modeled clothing, 60s, 70s. Drop dead gorgeous. Another woman that was beautiful, she is exactly my age, was Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields was stunning. Another one was Mazzy Star. Her real name is Hope Sandoval. She is my age. She was gorgeous. But she was very moody. And you see that in her music. She seldom smiled. Mom, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you, Naomi, and welcome. Thank you, I can't say it. I'll just say Ferrara. Kim, right on. I've always had a partiality. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen a woman with a chest and they're nice and I felt something. But in preference, smaller chested women really drive me crazy. I don't know why. They just do. Mazzy Star had some good music. Her style was very unique. Colette, that's what they say over here. It wasn't Twiggy, but it was somebody on the order of Twiggy. What was her name? I don't believe she was American. She was either French or British. She was beautiful, model clothing, stunning model, stunning. I can't think of her dang name. Broken heart, no smiles. Hi, Ashley. Not Sadie. My mama told me, you better shop around. Who sang that, ladies? Who sang it? Ellie McPherson's okay, but this one was prettier than her. What was her name? I'll have to look it up. There was a Facebook page that showcased these women. I like women with small breasts, and it was all the women that were models and the who's who actresses that were small or flat chested, and all of them were stunning, slender, petite, and stunning. And I cannot remember the name of the one that strikes me. Not Marie Claire. I'll find her. I have to look it up again. I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I gotta. Her hair is Harlow gold, her lips sweet surprise. Wasn't Olivia Newton-John. She was beautiful. Kate Moss didn't do anything for Jane Birkin. Jane Birkin, that's it. Thank you, yes. I'm sorry, you might think I'm crazy woman, but she drove me nuts. That's it. Jane, thank you. That's it. I was thinking the B, something B. That's it. Jane. Simple, stunning, beautiful woman. And to this day, I think, my gosh, beautiful. That's right. And Filipinas, they would tell me they were using a whitening soap. They didn't want to be tan. Because get this, in Philippine broadcast culture, you will not see the tan-skinned Filipinas in the TV. It's the Spanish blood Filipinas, more white skin. Why are people adverse? White women spend billions of dollars in tanning salons, but Hollywood puts out the white women. Our culture and cultures globally have put a preference on white skin. And I'm like, you go to the Philippines and all I see is brown. Why do we downplay that? You got white India women and you got dark skin India women. Black. There's black women that are just as beautiful as any white woman. In fact, I hate to say it, I've had some African friends from Africa that were more stunning than the low-class dynamic that seems to be very prevalent over here. They know 3 languages, they have a job, they've got a beautiful house and beautiful furniture. They're beautiful women with good hygiene and good manners. I would have no problem falling in love with a real African woman. Zero problem. They're cultured. They're dignified. Yeah, Jane Birkin was outstanding to me, and she modeled herself well. She was something else. I never saw that one, Holland. That's that Mediterranean, Erica. Mediterranean skin is awesome, without a doubt. Without a doubt. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning. I hate going to work. I'm glad I have a job, but I got to tell you, I wish that I could do something else. People ask what? I don't know. I have no idea. Thank you, Katie. Claudia Schiffer. I haven't heard of her. I remember Twiggy was big when I was a kid. Lady Gaga is a bit much. I liked her song Poker Face and Just Dance. But Lady Gaga strikes me as weird. She showed up in a meat dress. I mean, she was definitely pushing the envelope kind of a gal in a way that didn't really turn me on. Madonna was good looking, but Madonna was also another one that was off the wall. Madonna has done it with men and women and makes no bones about it. Madonna, what a mess.
I feel like blowing up the White House.
Really, Madonna? As if you can comment on politics. Madonna has literally gotten to live as decadent as one can possibly live, earn millions of dollars and get away with it. No fear of God in that chick. None. She is embarrassing, absolutely. Winona was pretty. Blondie, really? Pat Benatar was hot. I don't eat fast food. When I was a kid, I grew up on McDonald's, like many kids did. I mean, it tastes good, but it's junk. I can't eat the bun. Have you seen the ingredients in French fries? There's a paragraph in fine print. Tell you what. Hey, pleb. Never saw Twin Peaks. Madonna was very controversial. She claimed to be Catholic. All I can say is I know for a fact Madonna's not a Christian. She has zero conviction at all. You know who I thought was pretty, but she's manufactured herself, is Judge Janine. Now that woman was a hottie in the day. Woo, baby. I would have looked at her and said, you can go ahead and judge me, baby. Come on. But they're all getting old, and you can just tell they've bundled up so much of themselves, it's almost unsightly. Trying to think of kiss, kiss, out under the bearded barley, da da, kiss me. Love that group. 90s still had some good bands. REM, the Sundays, the Cranberries, the Church. There was some good bands still. Oh, Hooters shut down in Augusta. They just bulldozed it. The Masters actually bought it. They bought the property. The Masters are continually buying and shutting down and bulldozing homes and businesses to further expand their empire. I don't think most of the women at Hooters, I tell you what, there's women that just out there in the day and day are prettier than Hooters babes. Masters takeover, absolutely, Dells. They have bought up real estate. There's a used bookstore over there, and you know Masters has come banging on their door. I wish my house was over there. I wish Masters say, we'll give you $1 million. Let's go. Let's do it. Sinead O'Connor. Wasn't she the one that shaved her head? What movie was that? I'm sorry, I get more satisfaction looking at the internet at women than I would at Hooters. And I'm not into buffalo wings, whatever the heck those are. Yeah, well, I'm in South Augusta. It wouldn't support it. Here it'd be, instead of Hooters, it'd be Booties. This side of town would be called Booties. Booties. You know who was cute in a weird way? And the movie was strange. The Shape of Water. Who was the actress? That woman was not a 10, but man, when she had her clothes off, I was like, dang, she's not a bad looking little thing. Yeah, down here in South Augusta, it'd be booties. By the way, just for the record, I'm not into booties. I like a woman with a slender butt. I don't like a woman with a VW Volkswagen back end. And the guys down here, they're into all that. They'll be standing around, and, a trunk goes by, and they're like, oh, look at that. I'm like, no thanks. It reminds me of the movie Robots, where that woman robot's banging around. Every time she turns her butt wipes out half the kitchen. The guy in our department in construction said something. He said, I'm so into that, I'm like a fat woman at a buffet. banging everybody out of the way. No, Hooters have been going. Playboy went down years ago. They don't do the actual. Did you know Hugh Hefner? And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of like him. He was fascinated by watching women with women. And so am I. I'm going to be honest, I'm a Christian saying this, so sue me. Watching two women passionately explore and be sweet on each other, there's nothing like it. I mean, as far as me feeling my deepest ever orgasms, that does it. Over sex, I don't know what it is, but two women being sweet and physical. I'm not talking about two men-looking women. I'm talking about two lipstick lesbians where you can tell they're not acting. They're really getting into. It's fascinating to me, and it's wrong. It's wrong in God's eyes, but yet it's beautiful. It's very attractive. Yeah, Shape of Water. Hey, thanks, Holland. I hope you come back. You have a good day. What is a BBL? You know, and I've said this, if I had a girlfriend and she was in love with me, but she had a girlfriend, I would not mind, as long as that girlfriend didn't interfere with our relationship. Women tend to be more sexually fluid than men. When I was dating the Korean gal, she had always wanted to experience a woman, so I arranged that, did an ad, and I was the go-between. I talked to the woman and vetted her out. And it was a Hispanic woman, and she was drop dead gorgeous. They were in that room for 3 hours. I did not go in there, but boy, I wanted to see what they were doing. She told me all about it. She said, I have to admit it was fun, but she said, I don't think I would ever do it again. I said, well, good, at least you know where you are. But it turned me on when she was telling me about it. She said, I was doing things I didn't think I'd do. I said, you got lost in it? She goes, I did. You know, it's sad because even me as a Christian, I'm like, God, I wish all this stuff wasn't so wrong. Sally Hawkins, that's right. Has anyone felt a butt lift in person? No, Colette. Hey, Moonchild, how are you? Yep, I'm going it back. So kiss me. Yes, Chance. It's a good song. It's catchy. It's just got that way about it that's... I do have a problem. I've been damaged by the era we live in. I have been affected. I don't know if I could be married. I want a girlfriend. I don't want her to move in and play house. But I want a girlfriend. I would like to be involved with a woman. But it seems to escape my grasp. Oh, Brazilian butt lift. I didn't know that. I'd have to see Sally Field's picture. I can't remember what she looks like. Phoebe Cates was a 10. Oh my. When I'm with you, it's paradise. Just kiss me once, I'll kiss you twice. None love. Thank you. Oh, I didn't actually see that movie, Edward. I just heard about it. Squat rack. Good morning, Denise. How are you? And welcome back. I find it interesting. A lot of lesbian women have latched onto me and want to be friends. And I don't know why that is. But, and no, before you say it's because I dress this way, most lesbian women, I never did this. And then they always tell me about the weird thing they got going on with their girlfriend and how they're at odds and this and that. And I just don't believe in my heart because the way God made things, I think that there's a momentary passion. There's a momentary passionate lust that exists, but a lesbian relationship does not last any better than a heterosexual. That's a myth. Same with the gays. Gays are constantly stepping out on each other, even knowingly. And I do believe that God made it one man and one woman. But, marriage is hard. People change. And familiarity breeds contempt. Oh, got you. Yes, Jaden, I forgot about that. If I was a woman, I would never date a man. I would go after a woman passionately. I think it'd be fun to be a woman and experience another woman. I think that'd be electrifying. If anything, I'm a grown man, but if anything, I wish I was a lesbian. That's just being brutally honest. I've been around men. Men have given me great body massages and back massages, but men, they're not even wired like me, let alone women. And men cannot give me what I need. Men are so caveman about sex. They're just so caveman. If the moon was blue cheese. See, and Katie, we feel that way about a lot of women when we get married. They were really nice. We were dating, we got married, and the real monster showed up. Dating culture wears a mask. The thing I like about my channel, there's no mask. Women can see me, hear my beliefs. I'm not trying to make sure I don't offend and put on this perfect act. And a lot of women have showed an interest in me. Oh, I want to come by. I'm on my way to Florida. I want to see you. Well, let's do it. And they don't. I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid to get too close to me. Or they're just playing games. Who knows? Yeah, but Katie, I think it's temporal, like anything else. I think like anything else, it'll run out of gas. It's fun, the idea, the passion. But eventually, it's like a new bicycle. You park it in the garage, lean it against the wall for the last time, and you never ride it again. I think that's what happens with anything, because we're sinners. We always need something new to keep us interested. And women they're more emotional. You get two emotional people and she's having an off day, that other woman's not going to take that too kindly. Mama, that's awesome. And I will say with Colette, congratulations. Yes, Edward. Isn't that what the Phantom of the Opera is all about? Christine. Good morning, Johnny. How are you? Chance, I just got so tired of fighting it that I seldom do. I mean, I'm not out there running around racking up booty points, but my thought life is atrocious. To me, fantasy is better than reality. It's the safest form of sex because no STDs, no pregnancy, and I didn't bond with somebody and hurt her feelings. That's right, Edward. And ladies, I discovered something for me. The deepest orgasms I have are seeing two women. It goes all the way down to the soles of my feet. I have plantar fasciitis. And when I get those orgasms, it tingles all the way through me. I'm like, dang, I haven't even had that when I made love with pretty women. And I know that the Bible talks about sin, but I've saved a lot of problems by not chasing all these women and getting it on with them. I don't have that drama. I don't have to worry about the guilt that comes because I got naked with her. And there is guilt because I sinned, and the Bible says there must not even be a hint of sexual immorality among you. Well, it is in us. It's in every one of us in our minds every day. Everybody's wired different. I have a high sex drive. And I do not feel bad about relieving myself. And I could stop looking at images. And I could still relieve myself at thoughts. But I like to look at art. I like to look at expression. I would have no problem having classy lesbian art adorn my living room walls. I think two women are beautiful. Me personally, I don't believe it's dirty. God says it's sin. This is the relationship of the sovereignty of God and the free will of man. And I'm tired of running into Christians that act like, well, Michael, well, shut up. I know what you're going to quote the scripture at me. Just because I'm saved doesn't mean, oh, I hate that. I'm a Christian. That's so wrong. Be honest. I'm supposed to be transformed by the renewing of my mind. I'm not going to be transformed unless I embrace the fact, yes, God, I like this. That's the first step in Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been with women. Getting married does not solve your problems. It does not make lust go away. Now you just hooked up with another sinner. What did you expect? Dum-dum? That's right, Tara. That's dead on. Hello, angel baby. This is why I like to just dance. That's why I'm sensual. I like to express myself. I don't care if people get off on it. I don't care. There's right, there's wrong. And some people say, well, you could be a stumbling block. Good. If somebody rubs one out or someone fingers himself at it and it makes them feel good, at least I contributed to a positive aspect of their day. I don't personally have a hang-up about it. Doesn't mean I'm going to hook up with all these people. No. There's so much evil in the world. And I think we need to focus on all the violence, all the hatred. Absolutely, Angel. Absolutely. I think that it sucks that we're prisoners in our own minds. What, Colette? Are you going to scold me now? Yeah, Katie, it's all acting. Colette, what did I do? Colette's mad at me. Here we go. I'm going to get it. Colette, I'm honest. I've heard of that, Chance. Being embarrassed from what? What did I say that embarrassed you? Oh, I think I just figured it out. Got you, Colette. Woo, baby. That's funny. When we become a Christian, we're supposed to be Christ-like. Edward, I'm sorry to hear that. Hello, Twisted. How are you? Lord, we pray for Edward who's having a headache. We pray for everybody else that's struggling with physical struggles and issues. For the rest of us that are struggling with certain things at our jobs or just ourselves, we pray, God, that you would help us to get closer to you. We're all grown adults in here, God, and I pray for every one of us. I thank you for the people that come to chat, come to the lives and the channel. We pray that you'd help us all, God, as we're on this journey. Thank you that we can be honest. We pray for your safety and your protection on all of us. In Jesus' name, amen. Get out my house. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. See, I have to have music to dance. No problem, Twisted. Hey, what happened? Something just disappeared. Angel, baby, what'd you do with your message? I was trying to read it. It went... Women stare. Hi, Amy. I didn't even see you sneak in. Tell me what, Angel? Wow, they are not going anywhere. I love doing them. And it's a good workout. Who cares what people think? Oh, yes. Me too, Angel. No, Angel, not everybody does that. I do. I don't rub one out to people's videos on here. No offense, but some of the women on here that think they're all that, they're such a turnoff. Even if they're pretty, they're so narcissistic. It's like, I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of an orgasm. Nah, I'm going to pass. You too, Angel. You guys, another ball game. That's funny. I don't care what they say about leaving. I'm gonna beg you to stay. I don't care if they start to avoid me. I don't care what they do. Oh, yeah. Smokey Robinson, another great. All right, guys. Till next time, be safe. Shoot, I can't get in trouble. I got to go to work. Erica, you too. Everybody, thank you, Chance. All right, guys.